Hello everybody and welcome back again to Let's Play Disco Elysium. So, after some lengthy discussions with the cryptozoologist and the crypto-fascist, I think we're done here and we can finally move on. But first, let me take a look at that new piece of armor that I found. Well, not found, but retrieved from the crypto-fascist, because apparently he stole it when he disposed of the clothing and so on. So yeah, let's have a look. +1 pain threshold, +1 volition, -1 empathy. This vitreous animal curious fits snugly and redistributes kinetic energy across its countless white plates. Amazingly, it fits under your coat. And it also makes pretty porcelain sounds when shaken. Okay. I mean, I have been wanting to get like a new shirt for a while, and apparently this counts as a shirt that goes under the jacket. I guess more pain threshold, more volition? Yes, sure, why not? Sure, why not? My pain threshold isn't that great to begin with. It will cost me some empathy, but I mean, I can make up for that with my next skill point or something. So yeah, I guess the crappy shirt can finally go away. It looks better, I guess. Well, it's not much of an achievement to look better than the tank top here. What's my physical instrument like, by the way? I mean, it's still okay-ish, I guess. But yeah, let me have a look at all my tasks again. I finished some, but I also updated some. First of all, we can check out traps. In Land's End, far northeast of the Felt building. Check the trap Morel just set up. Okay, so one has got to be around here. Check the trap near the boathouses west of the Felt building. And check the trap near the canal you crossed southeast of the village. Okay, so there's a more or less accurate description where to find the different traps. Yeah, I can't really do anything about this yet. I need to collect some points probably to pass that skill check. I can do something about this, however. I can return to Idiot Doom Spiral and give him the jacket. Yeah, I still don't know where to look for bullet traces on the boardwalk. I mean, I found bullet traces, but they seem to be from some execution a while ago. Nothing to do with our current murder. And yeah, I can't do that. And I don't really have any new information on any of this. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look at traps. Well, I mean, is this the one that he just set up? Because I can't interact with it. Let's see if there's any other traps around here that I might be able to investigate. Not that I can tell. So I'm not sure what trap he was talking about. Oh, hang on a second. There's one over here. Is this the one?
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring.
Alright, let's look around.
Behind you, a ruined residential building looms over the reeds, shielding them from the wind. They rustle confidentially, in tune with the pitter-patter of the rain.
Okay, but that is a trap near the boathouse, so not the one that he just set up.
When this district was booming, the reeds were kept at bay. Nothing obscured the freshly painted facades. Nowhere for drunks and adventurous teenagers to hide. Now only the wind blows.
Alright, let's have a look at the trap.
Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Well, unsurprisingly, no phasmid in this trap.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down. 3 to go.
Damn, I was hoping it would be in the first one. No need to grin. I'm not expecting to find anything. I'm helping some citizens and getting some fresh air. It'll be the next one, surely. Say nothing, just put the trap down. Yeah, it'll be the next one, I'm sure.
Surely.
Oh, I cut you off, Kim. I'm sorry. I thought you were already done talking. Okay, so what is the trap that he just set up? I mean, it's got to be somewhere close to him, right? Ah, okay, there's one over here. Is this the one? Maybe I couldn't interact with it because he was still working on it and now they have left. I can actually check this out.
This is the trap Morel just
Okay.
said. Checking it over, he said, is just a technicality.
Alright,
But
let's have a look.
the reeds by the abandoned campsite hiss and shake in the lazily falling rain. It's good the cryptozoologists left. This isn't a very cozy place to stay night after night. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone out. You feel strange, somehow.
Alright, let's have a look at the trap.
This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Well, as I would expect since he just set up the trap a few minutes ago.
Another empty trap.
The lieutenant takes a note, more out of habit than duty. Let's keep going. The next one is a lucky one. How are you enjoying the cardio, Lieutenant? I'm quite enjoying it myself. I want to make it clear that I don't actually believe the phasmid exists, okay? Say nothing, just put the trap down. Yes, number 3 is going to be the lucky one.
Yep. The next one has a crab trapped in it. These are just crab traps, you do realize.
Well, this is quite possible. This is quite possible. But, I mean, it doesn't mean that they can't trap a phasmid, right? Okay, so that's another one down. Which means one has to be somewhere in the northeast and one has to be near the canal that I passed. I guess I can't go any further in this direction. Also, have I interacted with that over here? I mean, I probably have, but let me check this out again. Hang on a second. I need to properly interact with it. Can I maybe use a tool on this one? Or is this going to be... Yep, I can. And okay, there's something for my health. What about the other window? Oh, that's actually quite a decent amount of money. Alright, well, that was actually useful. Come back here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's maybe try to get back to the canal and look for another trap. I guess this is supposed to be the canal, right? So let's look around. Do we have a trap anywhere around here? Oh, hang on a second. A kick drum pulse. The music is coming from somewhere on the ice. Music? Okay, there's stuff over here, but I want to find that trap first before I continue to explore any further. Nope, I'm not seeing anything around here. But I mean, I'm sure sooner or later I will stumble over it in some form. Maybe he was talking about some other canal. I mean, technically, this isn't really a canal. It's just a small, very dirty stream. So maybe I'm going to go back to Idiot Doom's spiral first. And I will return the jacket. Maybe let's make another quick tour around here to make sure I haven't missed a trap. Yeah, this is just a dead end. Okay, never mind. Let's return to Idiot Doom's spiral and return the jacket. That shouldn't take so long. And then we will continue to explore the beach. I mean, this is the right way if I want to return to the fishing village, right? Yeah, I think it is. Alright, IDS. I have some good news for you. I found your jacket, or what's left of it anyway.
Tequila sunset.
He nods in appreciation. Yes, I found your jacket.
Ah, tequila. I knew you'd come through. That's fucking great, man.
Give him the jacket. I found a little more than I bargained for. You mean the stuff on the jacket? Well, that is not my problem. Here's your jacket.
Let me see. What? This isn't my jacket. My jacket was beautiful. This is fucking filthy. What am I supposed to do with this?
Look, I just stumbled upon another dead body. I don't care about the jacket. What do you expect? You left it outside for a week. I'm sorry I found it like this. Yeah, that's kind of what happens to beautiful stuff if it's left alone like that.
I'm not taking a disgusting pile of hobo rags. I may be in an irrecoverably decaying orbit, but I've still got standards.
Okay, if you say so. I'm not forcing you to take the jacket. I can just throw it away.
Either bring it back the way it was before, or find a dumpster to burn it in.
How am I supposed to bring it back the way it was before? Do you expect me to clean it for you? Oh well.
You know, despite the guano, it looks like the jacket itself is stain resistant. It may just need a good scrubbing.
Okay, so you actually do want me to clean it. Well, I will think about it. Let's see. Wash the dirty jacket. Okay. I will have to find a place to properly wash this. Why again am I doing this for you? Anyway. Check the trap near the canal you crossed southeast of the village. Oh, do you mean the actual canal where the waterlock is? I mean, that is kind of southeast of the village, so I guess that's what he's talking about. Oh, I didn't intend to do that. Okay. I don't really need to hear your stories again, so never mind. So maybe I will check out the canal again. Just need to find my way around here. I hope this is a way to go back to the canal. Alright, here we go. There's the trap.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has not been a priority for the cryptozoologist.
Alright, let's look around.
The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. Some tufts have been crushed. The broken stalks seem like a rebuke. The sound of the city hums in the east. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold.
Alright, let's have a look at the trap.
Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological monstrosity.
Of course.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done.
His face is red from the cold sea air. He crouches to catch his breath. Bummer it wasn't in here. You getting tired? I must stress that I did not expect a cryptozoological monstrosity to be in this trip. Yeah, you getting tired?
No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
He's short-winded, the sentence ends there. Yeah, I mean, I am running around a lot here. And honestly, since I'm back here at the canal, I may as well return to the main part of town and maybe take care of that missing body business. Can you please just go up here? Just go and let your path find yourself, because it's kind of hard to navigate. Now the quest tells me to call the station and to call Gemrock Public Library for information on the owner. I feel I could just talk to the wife again, but I suppose I will try to make these calls as well. And then we will see if that already gives us some information.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Alright, let's pick up the radio.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Yes, connect me to Gemrock Public Library.
I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
6 p.m.? Oh, come on! It's just very shortly after 6 p.m. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, I guess I can't call the library.
We should try again during business hours.
Uh-huh.
Anything else, Detective?
Well, in that case, I'm just going to report a dead body, I suppose.
One moment.
You can hear her shuffling through some papers.
Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
An unidentified middle-aged man. Height 170 to 175 centimeters, dark hair, medium build. Looks like he slipped, fell through a hole in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench.
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence?
No, seems like it was an accident. Someone might have pushed him. I have no reason to believe that. It seemed like an accident to me.
No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes?
He was wearing boots, trousers and an old leather jacket with a bright blue lining. I found a library card from his pockets.
Any information on the library card?
It's from Central Gemrock Public Library. Why do you think I just tried to call them? And apparently it belongs to someone named Billy Méjean.
Good. You have a lead.
Indeed.
Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else?
No, we're good. We're taking the case.
I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue.
Alright, perfect.
That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I think that's it.
57th, over and out.
Her voice disappears into the void.
In the cabin, you see a set of
Alright,
steering
don't need that
levers.
anymore. Let's just continue. And I suppose I can still try to talk to the wife. Maybe that will give me some information. Oh, now the wife is not here anymore, of course. Why would she be here the moment I actually need to talk to her? Okay, so I guess I can't continue with this investigation. I have to wait until tomorrow, and then I will be able to call the library again. But there might be a few other things that I can do around here. For example, can I attempt that skill check with Lena again? I mean, I have quite a few here. From a to Zriek, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. Okay, right, this was like a book. It's kind of confusing that it doesn't remove any skill checks that are no longer possible. I mean, there's lots of skill checks here that aren't really available to me anymore. Okay, yeah, maybe we want to talk to Lena again and try to pass that skill check. And I think this one is another one I can attempt, now that I have more volition. As a matter of fact, I think this one is right over here, so why not start with that?
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
Right.
East Delta Commerce Center? This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
Okay, I think my chances are slightly better. The question is, can I increase my volition even higher than that? I mean, probably not, because it's already kinda at a maximum. I guess I'll just give it a try.
No, hold on. The last thing you need in your life is more hysteric emotions. Forget it. Find something else to do.
Right. No luck here, but let's see if we can talk to Lena again. Especially now that her husband has returned, although he isn't actually here.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
I ran into your husband on the coast. You never told me you've seen the phasmid, and we can try this skill check again. But yeah, first things first, I ran into your husband on the coast.
Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't returned yet?
The old woman clasped her hands together over her blanket.
He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back earlier because the water lock on the canal was broken. Now he's just finishing up somewhere.
Right.
Oh, yes. That's my Morel. He's bound to catch a cold staying out there for so long. But I am so relieved to hear that he's okay. Thank you for putting an old woman's heart at ease, if even a little.
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging body's foul. Her heart won't rest until Morel is safely back with her.
I mean, this is just a matter of him making it back here. What else can I do? He already left the beach, as far as I can tell.
Now maybe she'll open up about those fascinating cryptids. Take her mind off all this.
Well, as a matter of fact, that did increase my odds. But first, let's talk about that phasmid again. Apparently you have seen it before.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
No, I really want to know. Let's change the subject for now. Well, as it happens, I'm kinda involved in hunting that phasmid myself now, so you may as well tell me more about it.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
I like how dutiful you are with your note-taking, even if it's about crypto animals.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden...
Wait, where was this and how old were you? What happened? Yeah, you were building a racing track out of sand? Why? When did this happen?
I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
So it was decades ago and in a different place. Huh, okay.
Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near, circa 20 kilometers from here.
It used to be quite near? How far away is it now? Was it bombed so heavily that it changed position? But yeah, what happened?
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it.
Okay.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds.
And did you follow it?
I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
And then what happened?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel. We were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face. He said my descriptions matched the phasmid down to a T. Its white marble limbs, the way it moved.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
Basically, it's what brought them together, huh? So you're on a date, its limbs are white. How big was it? Maybe you imagined it. I mean, she was 5, so this is definitely possible. Kim, what do you think of this? Thank you for sharing this with me. So you were on a date, I guess.
Our first, yes.
The old woman sighs tenderly.
The sigh is tender. The sigh is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express. Interesting.
So you're saying the limbs were white?
Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them, on the inside, like stalks of marble, if that makes sense.
Huh. I mean, did you mention the white limbs in your initial description? Let me have a look at that again. Huh. Like some antique toy. Yeah, she didn't really mention that they were white. It was Morel who mentioned, oh, they were white. And then she was like, yeah, maybe they were white. Some of them at least. So it feels like maybe he could have influenced her memories to some degree to fit with, you know, his description of this cryptid. I don't know. So yeah, how big was it? Apparently it was towering over you, you say.
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
Yeah, that's another thing. The phasmid is supposed to be relatively big for an insect, but clearly not so big that it would tower over a 5-year-old child. I mean, it's got to fit in those traps, right? So I feel that her memories, as she's telling them to me, do not really match with Morel's description, not entirely anyway. So, yeah, I'm not sure about this. So maybe you have imagined it, Lena.
Of course. I've thought about it. But Morel says my report matches with the others. And I'm sure I hadn't heard of the phasmid as a child. Nor had my mother or my grandmother.
Yeah, but like I said, your description doesn't really seem to fit Morel's description exactly. So maybe you were just glad that someone actually believed you and, you know, took you by your word about what you saw as a child, and then your memories just changed to accommodate his description. I don't know.
So how did I know what to imagine? It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, Lena?
She lowers her voice, imitating a boy.
You trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here. They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming. But I saw it.
Yeah, so for most of her life she has been belittled for what she saw that day, and then much later she met Morel and he actually believed her. Because if I remember correctly, they met fairly late, right? So they weren't like teenagers when they met, but they were already a little bit older, if I remember correctly. So Kim, what do you think of this?
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
He closes his notes and gives her a simple smile. Very diplomatic, Kim.
But I don't believe it. A child left unattended on a warm day. Children make up stories and then end up believing them.
Well, yeah, I guess it's possible. Anyway, thank you for sharing this with me.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
Alright, now that we talked about this particular cryptid, maybe I can convince her to tell me more about other cryptids.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Hey Lena, I'd like to hear about some of the cryptids you've studied. Could you just tell me about a couple of them? Yes, please.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
Okay.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't
come
turn
on.
into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Come on, Kim. Again, you're such a party pooper sometimes. Just one little cryptid, promise. Cryptic extravaganza, I like the sound of that. Yeah, why not a cryptid extravaganza?
And I don't. Just one.
Okay, just one.
Ooh, tough choice there.
Tough choice. What's the biggest cryptid? What's the tiniest cryptid? What's the most dangerous cryptid? Is that a cryptid on this pen you gave me? Take out the pen she gave you? Are there any invisible cryptids? This has been educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else. I don't know. Maybe tell me about the most dangerous one.
The gnome of Jeroma.
The gnome of Jeroma. That sounds terrifying. That doesn't sound too bad. I mean, if it's a gnome, then it's probably fairly small, so that doesn't sound too bad.
Oh, it is. None of his victims survive. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
And what did this cryptid look like?
It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and an ungainly little thing. Quite scary to look at.
All right.
A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
Okay.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Look at you, Kim, with your logical questions. I bet you have like a high logic score.
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Indeed. If this story is true, it is indeed a loss for science.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
Yeah, my logic doesn't really believe any of these stories either. Seems very convenient that it just disappeared and nothing like it was ever seen again. No, it was a perfectly good explanation. Stop being so skeptical. I mean, it is very convenient, yes.
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least likely to be found again.
Well, I guess you're right about that. Still, I guess it's not unhealthy to remain skeptical about stuff like that. So, I wonder what happens if I try to ask about another cryptid. What is Kim going to say? So, are there any invisible cryptids?
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
Well, you made me promise. I didn't really want to. But Kim, don't you want to hear about another cryptid too? Yeah, come on. This is going to be interesting. Invisible cryptids.
The lieutenant pauses, thoughtfully.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Okay, apparently we finally wore him down and now we can ask about more cryptids. Also, I just got a breakthrough, so I gotta look at that stuff later.
Well, the answer is yes. There is an invisible cryptid.
Alright, tell me more about it.
The Col de Mama d'Aqua, or thin whisper of sound. And that's precisely what it seems to be. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. It's very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track.
Okay, the Col de Mama d'Aqua. What a name.
Col de Mama d'Aqua can also be translated as a whisper light and low.
Ooh, that actually means something. A whisper light and low. Could it be here? Look around right now. What evidence is there of this animal being a sound? Why is the Mama d'Aqua so afraid of us? Yeah, apparently that means a whisper light and low.
Yes, that's another translation. They're both quite lovely, aren't they? Although the low part is a little ironic. The Col de Mama d'Aqua makes, or rather is, such a high-pitched sound that other animals, including humans, can't hear it. It could be everywhere all of the time, and we wouldn't know.
Okay, well, again, very convenient.
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory.
Could it be here? Look around right now. I mean, if it's just a sound, I guess it could be anywhere.
It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights.
Yeah, that is indeed very convenient. A crypto animal that can't be seen and can't be heard and can't be found. Yeah, that is very fascinating. I mean, I gotta admire the imagination, I suppose. So what evidence is there of this animal being a sound?
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 1920s, a group of Areopagi ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing.
Okay, but when people say they're trying to capture sound, they don't mean that in like a literal way, as in capture something in a trap.
When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds.
So they would be songbirds, I suppose.
The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls.
I have to admit I'm not quite following you. But go on.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
Yep, that's clearly a passion for her as well.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Koldumamadakwa, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent.
So now we have yet another translation. But I mean, even if this sound exists, that doesn't mean that the animal is a sound, right? It just could be an animal somewhere that makes that sound. But sure, go on.
They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them.
Name them?
Sequester, Time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mamadakwa they followed individually.
Okay, and why is the Mama Dakwa so afraid of us?
That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction.
And you're sure they're only nearly extinct?
They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadakwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear?
Well, interference happens.
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing.
I guess so. Even if maybe the stuff she's talking about doesn't exist, she's good at explaining it.
Psst. They cancel each other out. Psst.
Right. Interference, as I mentioned.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population.
Okay, so you can kill these animals by just communicating with them on the same frequency. So how do they not kill each other when they like talk to each other if they have like the same frequency? Or does each individual have like its own frequency? I feel there's like a little hole in your explanation here. If they're all on one frequency, they would essentially wipe out each other if two of them are too close to each other.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Koldumamadakwa population anywhere.
Okay.
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, ma'am.
So did I.
I'm glad you did, dear.
She seems genuinely glad. Okay, can we ask about more cryptids?
What about what?
What's the biggest cryptid?
That would be the giant of Kokonur.
She says as if it's common knowledge.
The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes.
Wait, what do you mean, strange light? And just how big is it? Is it dangerous? Yeah, tell me more about that strange light.
Mirage or psychogenous luminance.
Okay, and how big is it exactly?
No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision.
A whole mountain? How can something like that be, like, hidden and, unidentified? But yeah, is it dangerous?
The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable.
So basically, if you want to actually investigate it, they just disappear.
Hui. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
Yeah, probably.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support.
Well, it's not quite as impressive as the burning rhino, though.
There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Coconur Desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Okay, so you're saying there's less gravity in that desert and thus we can have mountain-sized animals?
Gravity anomaly? Digging it. Digging this parascientific stuff right here.
Well, apparently at least conceptualization is all on board. But anyway, tell me more about the tiniest cryptid.
Cryobacter catlensis.
Cryobacter catlensis? I guess this is some kind of bacteria?
Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kotla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago.
And what's so special about it?
The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate. Certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study. No doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life.
What? You do not prolong your own life by injecting yourself with unknown bacteria. That's not how it works. Wait, she injected herself with it. You mean there's an immortal geologist wandering the world? I don't understand. Why would you prolong your life? Being alive is terrible. I intend to live forever too, as a symbol. She was preparing for the end times. She wanted to witness and record the twilight proceedings. Immortal bacteria, immortal geologist. That's a wild story. Yeah, you're saying there's an immortal geologist wandering the world now?
Yes, and she's quite mad too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream.
These are some extremely wild stories. But yeah, I can ask about the pen as well. Is that a cryptid as well?
Yes. It's the kind green ape. Half war story, half undiscovered species in the genus Homo.
A war story, you say?
Yes, it was reported by soldiers in South Safra during the war. The kind green ape would visit bunkers during the night, healing wounded soldiers with its saliva.
With its saliva? And there was something about an undiscovered subspecies of man. Yeah, saliva, you were saying?
Yes, it has amazing healing qualities. Some soldiers reported growing back limbs, regaining their sight.
I just thought, so far the story isn't quite as wild as the previous ones, but now we're getting into that territory. And yeah, what about that undiscovered subspecies of man?
Indeed, there is. It's our closest relative among the cryptids. Same taxonomic family, different genus. Which is to say, the kind green ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor and that evolved parallel to our own. Just like your partners.
But, I mean, he's the same species. And I'm pretty sure he's not a different subspecies of human. He's just a human that looks a little bit different. I knew it, Kim, you're not human. I'm pretty sure Kim is the same species as us. To suggest otherwise is stupid, yes. That's why I always have to take the lead, right, Kim? No, I'm pretty sure this is not how taxonomy works.
The lieutenant looks at you, pleasantly surprised.
Really? Is it really so surprising that I stand up for you, Kim? Come on, come on.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to imply that Saolites are inferior to us in many ways. You are superior. For example, your earwax doesn't have a foul odor like ours does.
That is a detail that I honestly didn't need to know.
A tremendous evolutionary advantage, I'm sure. But perhaps we've had enough speculative biology for today?
Yes, indeed. I think that's enough cryptids for today.
I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. He's the real expert.
Well, yeah, if I meet him again, I may actually ask him about some of these. But I guess that's all for now. Okay, well, that was something.
Fairweather T500.
Alright.
Remember that weakness you were looking for in the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or, if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
Indeed, and I'm already wearing 2 of them. So, let's see. +2 hand-eye coordination against enemies in FT500 armor. That is extremely niche. However, what's fascinating about this is it implies that at some point we will meet enemies in FT500 armor, and apparently hand-eye coordination will help me against them. So maybe I should put a few more points into that for my next level ups. I mean, yes, I will have 7 against them, but if I were to put more points into hand-eye coordination, I could increase my chances against these enemies that may appear at some point. And I guess the obvious choice here would be that they are the mercenaries that will come to Revachol at some point. But yeah, I guess we're done here for now, and the episode is getting very long again, so I'm going to make a cut here, as always. Thank you for watching, and see you again next time.